Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, John Fetterman, the Democrat senator out of the state of Pennsylvania, he will be heading to Mar-a-Lago this weekend to speak with Donald Trump, to meet with Donald Trump. And this is very interesting because John Fetterman is kind of on a very unique political arc, especially for a Democrat in 2025, because he gets elected as more of like, I guess you would say, viewed as a progressive type of Democrat, one of the further left people. We thought he would be like another Bernie Sanders, but instead over time, he's actually making sense. It's crazy. He had like a stroke. We didn't really know what his political views were back then because he couldn't articulate them. But now it does seem as if Fetterman, he's becoming more moderate, at least in terms of rhetoric. And we're going to get into the is he for real part in a little bit. But still, it does really say something because Democrats, they lost Joe Manchin, who is like the fakest moderate, but he did at times like actually have a moderate voting record. And he was like that, I guess you would say, the Democrat from West Virginia. He was able to win there in 2018. Republicans probably could have beaten him if they actually tried in that race, put up a more decent candidate, you name it. But still, you had this guy who wasn't necessarily in line with all the others. He only voted Democrat 90% of the time with Biden instead of like 100 or whatever. But the bottom line is that he was like the moderate, at least rhetorically speaking, and now he's out. Fetterman, who was elected a couple of years ago, many people thought he was one of the more radical ones. Well, he's apparently the moderate now. He's the most moderate Democrat in the Senate, arguably more so than Joe Manchin, at least rhetorically. And you can see this on many fronts, and we can look and see here. First of all, we could just talk about the fact that he's even meeting with Donald Trump, that he's going on Joe Rogan, that he's actually nice with people that are, on the right, and that's enough for some people. If you don't hate Republicans in 2025, you're a moderate. It doesn't matter what your voting record is. Like, that's how low the bar has been, which is not a good thing in my opinion, but that's a little bit besides the point. But even when it comes to Greenland, John Fetterman said that, we should actually look into buying Greenland and that people need to not, quote unquote, be upset at every little thing that Donald Trump does. And honestly, he's making a little bit more sense on that front than most of right-wing Twitter is, or X, I should say now. But still, he said that he's meeting with Trump to angle to be named the Pope of Greenland, an obvious joke. But still, the fact that he's able to make such jokes, the fact that he said, Donald Trump, he's owning the libs when he appointed Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General instead of like having a meltdown, kind of shows that he's, I don't know, he's likable. Whether you think he's a fraud or not, personally, I don't really trust him. I'll take the wins when I can get them, but I'm not really expecting him to actually be some sort of moderate. I'm not going to sit here and like prop him up 24/7. That's not the purpose of this video. In fact, the purpose of this video is to kind of react to some of the other propping up that I've seen. But it is true. You've seen him not rule out supporting Donald Trump's cabinet nominees, including those controversial nominees like Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel, or even some Republicans won't vote to confirm. Fetterman saying, I'm open to it. We'll see if he follows through. But he did say that he actually would vote to confirm his old opponent, Dr. Oz, as the Medicare administrator, so long as he promised to protect Medicare and Medicaid, and he will vote for Marco Rubio to be Trump's Secretary of State. So already he's not being hostile. He's calling out his own side. And even when it comes down to things like illegal immigration, he's talking to the right of a lot of Republicans 10 years ago on the topic, saying that, he's going to sponsor the Laken Riley Act, saying that he's calling out preventable violence brought by illegal immigration, calling out his own party. And that's the way it is. He's kind of done a 180 rhetorically, where he's making a lot of sense as he's gotten his brain back. And I think that's a very good thing for the Overton window. I really do. When you have all of these developments happening, where you have somebody that you thought would be on your side, like 0% of the time is actually trying to move the center of gravity in the direction in the Senate the way that it should, it's not really a bad thing. Now, I will say this. I think it's important that people actually look at his track record, because there's all these questions. Is he going to switch parties? Is he going to become a Republican? Well, Kyrsten Sinema had an opportunity to do that, and she never did. And she was somebody that I largely believe to be someone who is just a fake. She was a Green Party activist. She had a moderate-esque voting record for a Democrat, still voting with Biden 90% of the time, upwards of that for sure. When you look at that, she's not somebody who is to be trusted. So many people gave her a lot of praise that she really didn't deserve. She did technically switch parties to be an independent. The only reason why she did that was because she overplayed her hand with like the fake moderate stuff, and Ruben Gallego was going to challenge her anyways. And he was just decimating her in the polls to the point where she said, yeah, you know what, I'll just bow out. Maybe she wants a lobbying job or something. I don't know what's in the cards for Sinema. Fetterman, I don't know if he's really going to be able to piss off a lot of his own party in Pennsylvania, just because Pennsylvania is different from Arizona. He's somebody that still has a decent favorable rating within his own party, at least for now. So I don't know if he's really going to say, oh, I'm going to be an independent. Maybe he will do that, but he'll still probably get Democrat votes on things. We'll see. It's a little bit too early, but I tell people that, it's good to see rhetoric for sure, but people need to look and see where he stands in terms of his voting record. Now, this whole Laken Riley Act thing, it's a great thing, but if he's actually going to be somebody that is going to really switch parties and be accepted with like open arms or whatever, it's like pump the brakes a little bit on that. We'll see. There's a very good chance that this is all just an act to try and get reelected, in which case he's doing a very good job of it. He really is. Donald Trump went out there and won Pennsylvania by nearly 2 percentage points. He won it by 120,000 votes. This was a state that a lot of people said would be very close. A lot of experts had it going blue. I had it going red by a little bit closer than it actually went red by. But still, Donald Trump won by a lot. And when you look at the party registration data, which we covered in the last video, it is zooming right off a cliff. It is a state that is going to be much harder for the Democrats to go out there and win. And if J.D. Vance is the nominee in 2028, if Donald Trump is decently popular, Pennsylvania probably goes Republican again, and Fetterman knows this, which is why he's kind of being this guy who's trying to play the middleman. So, if he gets through a primary, or maybe he just runs as like an independent at the very most, he's going to have a decent shot to win because he's able to be popular when he's making these statements, even if he does back it up with action here and there, just like with the Laken Riley Act, which is good politics. He's a good politician. He is. Whether you like him or not, whether you trust him or not, I think it's important to admit that he's a good politician. Is he coming around? Well, I think that action over time will determine that. And even if he does eventually come around, it's very possible that it's because the Democrats get upset with him and they try to primary challenge him, and then he pulls a reverse Arlen Specter in 2028. Is that possible? It very well could be possible. I think him meeting with Trump is a good thing. If Donald Trump is somebody that could be that 54th shadow Republican senator on certain things that can help him advance his agenda a little bit further, that's going to be something that's good. And he's going to be able to, have more power as a result, even if he has to strike some deals with things like infrastructure or whatever to get more border security, wall funding, you name it. It's a good thing that Fetterman is sort of coming around kind of on certain things, at least rhetorically, because it is true that he's going to have to back it up with some action if he wants to go out there and win. But we'll see. It's very early on. I don't fully trust the guy. I wouldn't expect people in general to trust the guy either. A lot of people also will say, is he trying to run for president in 2028? Maybe he's trying to take the Democrats in a more, moderate direction. Well, is he even somebody who's capable of winning a primary? And still, even though he's recovered from the stroke, his speaking pattern, it's not as bad as it was in 2022. But at the end of the day, it's still not great. And that's kind of a problem. If you're running for president, he's still going to be mincing his words on the debate stage. His brain is more coherent than somebody like a Joe Biden, obviously. We understand that. But when it comes down to his, I guess you would say just public speaking abilities, it's not quite where you would need to become president. Senator of Pennsylvania is a different thing. We'll see. Again, the guy dresses in baggy sweats. It's not like he really has the most presidential look to him either. But I think that you could make the case that for the Rust Belt, if Democrats want to win the Rust Belt back, could there be worse options? Yeah, they'd be better off running him than somebody like a Kamala Harris again. But still, that's besides the point. Either way, Donald Trump won. He won Pennsylvania, and politicians understand the writings on the wall. Whether you trust Fetterman or not, like Fetterman or not, that's not entirely the point. The fact that he is saying what he's saying kind of proves that, yeah, even he understands that Pennsylvania is a state that's going to be a red state and probably will be a red state in 2028. So he wants to outrun the top of the ticket on the Democrats, where they have like little to no bench, which I think we're going to cover in the next video. But anyways, guys, make sure you guys like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.